hydroxide. I filled, it doesn't really matter what volume you fill it with, but I added approximately 4.9 milliliters from the top of the burette. Meniscus is the bottom of the curve that you see there, and it is approximately at 4.9 milliliters from the top of the burette, and that's how much sodium hydroxide is in the burette initial. Yeah. This is the Mountain Dew that 15 milliliters of Mountain Dew that I added in this Erlenmeyer flask. But the important thing is to add approximately 2 or 3 drops of phenolphthalein indicator, so we know precisely when the reaction has come to. Simply place the solution under the burette and release the NaOH. As you can see, I've added the phenolphthalein, and what the phenolphthalein does is when you add like 1 drop of sodium nitrate base into the solution, it'll make it turn pink. Like 1 drop would make it turn pink. You see that? What indicates it? But we need to make it to the point where the entire solution is light pink. And to do that, I am just simply swirling the solution. Alright, as you can see, the solution is turned light pink. You don't want it to go bright pink because that's you've exceeded the end point if you go bright pink. But this solution is light pink, and you can tell, a better way to tell is when you hold it up to white paper, it's light pink. Now that we know that the solution, the sodium hydroxide and the soda has come to an equilibrium, we need to measure how much sodium hydroxide we used approximately. And the final volume of the sodium hydroxide is 39.9 milliliters. Right. A change in volume. So it's very important to use a clean beaker. When I got it out of the cupboard, it wasn't. I didn't know if it was clean or not. So what I did, first I rinsed it with water, and what I did was I filled it up with about 10-15 milliliters of sodium hydroxide, and then rinsed it really well, and then poured it down the drain, and then that's how you prime and standardize the burette. And it's important to, like the 10 milliliters, 10 milliliters of sodium hydroxide, I rinsed it about 3 times with the sodium hydroxide, and then rinsed it out. And that's how I know that it's primed with sodium hydroxide. And then you can fill it with the with sodium hydroxide, and the percent error that you will get will be very low.
Alright, my name's Haley Williams. I got burette with sodium hydroxide. And first you want to determine the initial volume. So meniscus is at 0. So that means we've got this whole thing filled up with 50 milliliters.
We could just copy it.
So we're going to titrate the Sprite, and the titration is a laboratory procedure for quantitative analysis, and we're going to use it to find the concentration of the Sprite. The things you need to know before you do anything is you need to find the grams of analyte of what you're dissolving into your solution, how many milliliters of solution that you have so you can determine the change in volume. And then you also need to make sure you measure everything to 2 decimal places. Right, the data that you need to collect to get the concentration is the initial and the final volume. In order to record the volume in the burette, you need to get it eye level and read the meniscus, which is the curve, and you need to get it to 2 decimal places. The solution, the Sprite, has turned pink after adding enough NaOH, and now we can get the final volume, looks like it's about 35.80.
Bottom. Oh, fudge, I've got to do the bottom one.
To 35.80 equals 35.80.
I'm Catherine McGurnan. I go by Katie. And this is how to titrate. As you can see, the initial volume I have put at 0 so that it'd be easiest to read. Write down the initial volume as 0.00 milliliters.
Good job.
And then I'm going to start adding. After swirling the solution in order to make sure it is mixed, you can tell that it becomes a nice shade of pink. You don't want it to be too pink because then that means you added too much, and the point of the titration is to see the exact amount of how much you need to add for the reaction to happen. The final volume is 36.9.
Get your stuff ready and prepare yourself.
90 milliliters. And since the first one was 0, the change is 36.9 milliliters.